Good evening, and welcome to a biblical understanding of American politics. My name is Twana with Destiny Education, and I will be walking you through today's topic. So, today we're talking about undecided. So, we're specifically talking to those of you who are registered to vote but are undecided about what to do. This is a very interesting question. So, before we begin, I want to show you something. Because since we're talking about a biblical understanding, what better place to start than with the Bible? You ready? Here we go. Revelations 3:15 and 16. I know thy works, that thou art neither hot nor cold. I would, though, wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spew thee out of my mouth. For those of you who struggle with King James, why don't we take a step over to the New Living Translation and do it for you again? I know all the things you do, that you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. But since you are lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. Listen, this is not an election that is about a candidate. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump, it doesn't matter if it's Kamala Harris. It's not about the candidate. It's about understanding the freedoms that America gives us. America has always been nicknamed the land of opportunity. And while America has its many problems, it has always been the land of opportunity. It's the one place where you can start this world, this life, at a disadvantage and then end at the very top of this chart. Look at the number of people who are self made millionaires and billionaires within this lifetime. There are not many other countries where that could have been accomplished, least of all countries that have a monarchy. America gives each one of us the opportunity to level the playing field, to fight through the hard times, and to get where we want to go. Now, I would be remiss if I had the audacity to say to you that fighting through the battle here in America was easy. It's not. But nothing worth having is ever easy. It takes time, it takes diligence, it takes patience, it takes perseverance. These are all things we have to endure in order to reach the place where we want to get to. So when we look at that verse of Revelation 3:15 through 16, and God says to you, I would rather that you were hot or cold, but because you are like lukewarm water, I will spit you out of my mouth. What he's saying is make a choice and pick a side. So for those of you who are sitting back going, I don't like either candidate, I want you to understand that you just made a choice, and your choice was not for democracy. Your choice was hands down one of the most selfish things you could have done, because your decision to not go cast your vote means that you have left this country open for the following things. Number one, do you remember the term Nazi Germany? How will you handle Nazi America? How will you handle when you, as a black man or a black woman, are suddenly being having your front door kicked in, being shackled or handcuffed and dragged off to a country that you know nothing of? If you think they can't do that, you are making a mistake, because that is the level of insanity that we are dealing with at this point, at this season in time. We are dealing with a group of people who are so twisted and contorted, and their mind is so far gone, they think they're right. You see, when a person is powered by hatred, Their hatred blinds them to everything around them. It blinds them to the harm that they're doing to their children, their grandchildren, their relatives. It blinds them to the harm they're bringing to other people. They don't care. All they see is what they want, and that something is standing in the way of what they want. You are opening the door by choosing not to vote for people with billions and billions of dollars to be able to avoid taxes and blame you. You see, while those billionaires will be getting a $325,000 tax credit, according to Project 2025, if you make $100,000 or less, you will be paying an additional 2,600 in taxes. If you're making under 100K, 2,600 for some of you, it's an impossibility. You see, by not choosing a side, you have chosen a side. The problem is it's the side that's going to do the most damage. Because here's what's going on. Here are the struggles that are happening right now. Texas is in the process of trying to do voter intimidation. They're trying to scare people away from the polls, especially those who are black or brown, to ensure that they don't vote blue in this election. Florida, same thing. Georgia, same thing. They have all begun, they haven't just begun. In 2020, after the election ended, many of these southern states decided they were going to go through and they were going to redo their voting laws so that never again in history could a group of people come together and shift the results of the election the way that they did. Now, despite the fact that Joe Biden had approximately 7 million, between 2 and 7 million more votes than Trump did in the popular vote, the electoral votes are where the problem was. Now, listen, I can respect that you don't understand or you don't like the candidates who are available to you. That's fine. You are welcome to that opinion. But what you are not welcome to is destroying the country in which you live. You see, this is about whether or not we want to continue as a democracy or whether we're ready for that democracy to end. You see, once this is over, if we have not voted blue down that ballot, what that means is that red has a good possibility of taking over. And when they take over, the America you see today, the land of opportunity, will not be anymore. You won't have the opportunity to outgrow your circumstance. You will continue. If you are born poor, you will stay poor. If you're born middle class, you won't stay middle class. You will become worse. And see, that's one of the things that we don't look at. The Bible teaches us very clearly that if we are not moving forward, there's only one other way we can be moving, and that's backwards. You see, this is not a temporary change. This is a change that will last forever. The America that we know today will be gone forever. There won't be any more coming back. There won't be any more opportunity. This is not a season where you get to say, "Oh, I don't want to vote. Like, I don't like anybody. I don't like their policies." Okay, so here's the thing. If you don't vote, then you have voted to like whatever policy you get. So if you don't like their policies now, you think it's going to get better once maybe red gets into office, it's going to be worse. Now you have lost all rights, if you're a female, to your freedom and your body. You now live in a patriarchal society that is 100% dominated by men. And don't make the mistake of thinking that it will be before 4 or 5 generations where this will begin to change again. This is a problem. And you not choosing a side is an even bigger problem because what it's saying is that you don't care enough about your own life to make a difference. And so let me explain to you what this is doing. And don't worry, I'm going to get on the blue too. Let me explain to you what this means in your own life. This is a very simple look. This decision, this unwillingness to commit to a side is a lifelong issue that I promise you shows itself in other areas of your life. So when you now look at your life, what you're going to see and what you are seeing is that there are areas of your life where you are dismally unimpressed. You don't like it. You wish things were different, but you have accepted that things cannot be changed. Listen, whether we like the Electoral College or not, right now it's what's in place. We can talk about how to undo this after we solve this problem at hand. When you sit back and say, "Oh, I don't do elections, they're going to elect who they want to elect," are you sure that this is a season that you really want to sit back and make that decision? Because let me tell you one of the other things that's contained in Project 2025. It's that now people no longer have to hire you if they don't like your skin color. You can walk into work and they can say, "We don't need you anymore." And they don't have to explain it. Oh, and unemployment? Yeah, it's not going to be available for you to pull money from because they didn't want to work with you. You think it's only if you're a color? Oh, no. If you're a female and they don't want you in your position, bye. They have the freedom to move you right out of there and you won't get the choice to go back. You'll be done. You want to start your own business? Not if you're a woman, unless your husband is a part of it, unless he says that you can do it. Is that what you're going for? Is a world where you have to ask someone's permission to go and do what you want to do? If you are a female and you are single, God forbid your husband dies. God forbid he met a secretary and walked away. Now you're going to be penalized. They're going to charge you payments for choosing to be single. You see, this is a setup for men who choose not to be faithful to their wives. This is a setup for men who choose to be abusive to their wives. And they're going to sit back and give these men the freedom to do whatever they want to. And they're leaving you as women in a place where, hey, sucks to be you. I guess you should have been a better wife. That's what indecision is voting for. Is blue perfect? No, no. I think there are some ideologies on the blue side that are extreme. But let me explain something to you. I can discuss somebody's extreme behavior when they're rational and willing to come to the table. The Democrats at this point, the blue side, is willing to come to the table. You know that this election is serious when Republicans and Democrats can come together and both decide, oh no, we can't let this man come into the office. Adam Kinzinger, other people are all coming out of the woodwork and saying, absolutely not. We have to do something about this. What we're doing is we are saving our country, not our feelings, not our, oh, I don't like. Listen, this is not a time for you to be caught up in your feelings. It's time to put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and to get on with life. Either we save this democracy or we lose everything. Are you really willing to let everything that America has stood for be gone? Is that really what you want? Because not taking your chance to vote, saying that you're undecided is a problem. It's a problem for you. It's a problem for your family. And God forbid if you have children who are biracial, it's definitely a problem for them. What's even more disgusting to me is that there was this woman, I don't really know anything about her except that she dated Kanye West, Amber Rose. She's a biracial woman, and her white father told her that Trump wasn't a racist. Here's my question to the white father. Why would you put your black child in that position? You see, my question isn't to her, it's to you as her father. How do you make that decision? So Trump saves you a few dollars, but the life of your daughter has no value? Is that what we're to understand? That you would allow her to be put in front of a group of people who don't like her based solely on the fact that she has a beautifully colored tan, and you're okay with that? Have you, as a father, forgotten that Donald Trump put a full page ad in the newspaper to have harmed 5 innocent boys, now known as the exonerated 5? Were you so blind by your own privilege that you didn't even notice that was happening? You see, when you are a white male and you have chosen to have kids with a woman who's black or brown, then you have chosen to educate yourself on the hardships that these groups face at the hands of other Caucasians. And if you are not willing to do that, then you must question, number one, your loyalty to the father, because the father is all about his children, and he does not deliberately put his children in a place where they can be harmed. But you, as a father, would? We have to look at this. This is not some day and age where we get to sit back and pretend like everything is cool and fine and hunky dory. Even if it's not Donald Trump, Project 2025 is still something that has the ability to live past Donald Trump. It will still be on the block when the conservatives, even if the conservatives lose. It is time to start looking at some other ways. And we're not going to do that today. We'll save that for after the election. Because right now, if you are not voting blue, your vote is for red. That means you want Project 2025 to go. This election must be a landslide. I'm talking a landslide. I don't want to see America destroyed. And the problem is there are a lot of really closeted, hateful people who are sitting out there waiting to cast their vote for red and not caring. This is not in the bag. We have to pull together. So the question I have for you is this: do you know the same America that I know? Because the America I know, when the enemy comes, whether it's outside or in, we all come together. We all pull together and we all fight for the same cause. Or have you become so complacent and so privileged that you forgot what it is to have somebody take away your rights? As Black men, have you forgotten what it's like to be called boy everywhere you go? Or maybe it's something you haven't yet experienced. I'll tell you what, why don't you ask the older generation in your family what it was like when everywhere they went, it was, boy, son, I'm an 80-year-old man. How you gonna call me son? You 30 years my junior. But that was the life. That was the life. And you sit back here and you play around with your vote. You play around with your words and you say what? Oh, I don't know. I don't like their policies. Well, guess what? Pretty soon you're not going to be able to choose what policies you follow and don't follow because you will now live in a monarchy. The exact thing that the founding fathers were running from is what you're going to be in now. Remember, it was the King of England who was overtaxing him. Taxation without representation, and that's not fair. You talk about fairness, despite the fact that there is no such thing as fair. But now you want to move to a system that isn't fair. It's not fair to you and it's not fair to anybody. You want to move to a system where men have the right to rape your daughters, and what are you going to do? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And don't be a white female. Because when that happens to you, because it won't be a matter of if, it'll be a matter of when, everybody will look at you and go, "What are you talking about? You must have done something. You know, boys will be boys." That's what your indecision is voting for. So I think I have laid that truth a little bit harder than I had intended to, but now you have something to think about. And it's okay if you're mad at me, and it's okay if you hate me, as long as you consider what I'm saying to you, because I'm not painting you an extreme picture. As a matter of fact, the picture that I'm painting you isn't extreme enough for what we're facing. If what I have said to you was offensive to you and caused you harm, then you're not ready to live with what you're not willing to vote for. At this point in time, we vote blue because our goal is to save our country. And then after we put blue in that office, we revamp this entire system. It's time for that electoral college to die. It ain't creating no kind of safety net for anybody. What that electoral college is doing is creating a problem for everybody. We're giving people power to make decisions for us like we don't have the ability to make them for ourselves. There are too many of you out there who will pick up your phone and look up Google real quick to find out if something's true or not. And you're sitting back here incapable of making a decision. How is that? How is that possible? We vote blue. We saved this democracy. We saved this country that other countries model itself after, that other people flock to have the opportunities that we take for granted. These are the things that need to be at the forefront of our mind. Don't be surprised or taken by the fact that billionaires are supporting Trump. That doesn't mean anything except the only thing they care about is money. They're not stopping to think when they fall out of favor with the king. God forbid something should happen and they lose their money, because then they will really be out of favor with the king. And who will they be then? I will see you next week.